Hello, welcome to Northern Wisconsin. I'm Josh Topper at Topper Machine in Spooner, Wisconsin, and we are on the road today heading to Superior, Wisconsin to go visit with my friend John, who is the owner of Worldwide Machining and Welding in Superior, Wisconsin. Now, it's kind of a sad day, and I know this is not a video that I like to do, but I've said this before in my videos, Northern Wisconsin is extremely depressed. There's nothing here, and it's been getting worse the last several years. Over the last 20 years, we've seen a lot of industry dry up here and disappear. We're on our major highway here, US 53, and as you can see out the window, there's nothing but trees. Nothing, and it's very depressed. So we're gonna go visit with John and tour his shop and see his equipment. He's got some big, beautiful equipment, lots of tooling, and it will all be on an upcoming auction in June on Premier Machinery Auctions website. They're out of Blaine, Minnesota. They're doing the auction, and I'll have a link in the description below. All right, well, I'm here in the quality control room at Worldwide Machining and Welding with the owner, John Anderson. And John and I have developed pretty good friendship. We met because of my YouTube channel.
Yep, me and my wife, we love your YouTube channel. It's great. Yep.
Yeah, and I wish I would have met you long before that, because I probably would have worked for you.
Yeah, well, you never know.
I love the equipment you got here. But John's got some amazing products that he's developed and has been working with and developed the business with the products, but also doing a lot of the repair work in this region, the really large repair work, the kind of stuff I would like to do more of.
Yep.
But why don't you tell us about Worldwide?
Well, Worldwide Machining and Welding started out of my father's garage. There's actually a little video on our website that kind of talks about that. But it started out as one man in one truck, and at the height of the business, we actually had a little over 50 employees. They were great paying jobs with great benefits. We treated our people really, really well. We prided ourselves in that. Over the years, we've done really well, and we've been able to expand and grow this facility and add on to the machine shop and just continue to grow. But about 7 years, things changed in my life, and the economy took a direction and started to continue to slide. And now we've come to the point where we're going to be closing the doors here, which is pretty unfortunate. We're now down to about 7 employees. And after the last 7 years, my wife and I, and I will say this, I gotta give a shout out to my wife, Moira, because without her and without her love and her support, I don't know where I would be. But ever since I married her, she has continued to support me, and we have taken all of our personal resources and all of our personal efforts, and we have poured them back into the business, and it's gotten to the point where it's no longer enough. And so we're just going to be forced to close our doors. And the original plan was not even to completely close the doors. It was we were going to take some of our product out to California, where I live now. I have a very small little machine shop out there and a small mentoring program, similar to what you have with Connor. Just a few more young men that I work with out there that I will still continue to work with. But we were going to bring that stuff out there to California. But we sat down this morning with my operations manager, and we just started putting all the numbers together more and more. And we realized that we're just not going to be able to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to be selling off pieces of the company, and basically there's some really opportunity there. There's some big opportunity for people that have an understanding of the oil and gas industry. But this is a perfect example of one of the products that we make. It's called a threaded O-ring flange fitting. It's a high pressure fitting. We make them in several different class ratings, but we sell a lot of these. And we're currently on the approved manufacturers list from 2 very large oil and gas companies, and as well as a number of other customers that purchase these basically from around all over the United States up into Canada, and we're even now getting overseas sales. So really what we're giving up and what we're letting go of is really in a way quite unfortunate. But at the same time, I've got to go in this other direction that God has put in front of me, and where I know that I'll be able to survive and not carry all the stress and problems that I've had in the past. So there's really going to be an opportunity with that, as well as the auction for the equipment. We've got a number of other products. One of them is the Modutap that's used in the drain ups of a product line, such as gasoline, diesel fuel, or crude oil pipeline systems that are being used all over North America. That's going to be up for sale as well as, like I said before, all of our other equipment. So, but the auction is now set for, with Premier Auctions, it's actually going to be on May 7th and then finish out on the 14th with Jim. Let me pick this up here because I just dropped his card. Yeah, Jim Nelson, great guy. I just called him this morning. He said, John, I'm going to pull my hair out with all the changes you've made. And I just said to him this morning, I says, Jim, I'm sorry, but we're trying to figure this out. I've never done this before. You know, I've been tasked with solving all these problems in the oil and gas industry. We built, some automated batching systems. We've solved some very complex problems. And, all that stuff is simple. Just like kind of what you do at your shop. All these tasks that come in, I got to figure out how am I going to get this done. And so that's what I've done over the last 20 years. And, I've never had an auction before. I've never had to close out a business before. So we'll figure it out. And here we are.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. But you know what? It is what it is. And you just you gotta keep thinking positive, you know. So.
Yeah, and you're not the only shop in this region that's closed in the last 10 years.
Oh, it's
crazy.
It's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah. I mean, there's not many of us left.
No, not at all.
I mean, what's left here in Superior is just the one, isn't it?
Yeah, there's pretty much, well, there's two. There's actually two that are here in Superior. And the one has been well established for a long time. He's been here for 40 years. He does some great work. He's actually turning it over to his son. Okay. And a fine young man, and his dad has a wealth of knowledge. And he's been well established here, but there's not a lot left. It's surprising, and it's like we've said before, it's sad.
Yeah. When you started out, how many shops were in the area? Do you remember? Well, there was a few.
There were a few. What there were a lot of smaller shops, a smaller 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 man 5 operations. Things that were vital to small communities around here. But now they're gone. It's just like the dairy farms. When I was a kid growing up, we had dairy farms everywhere. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many calf pens I've cleaned. I don't know how many bales of hay I've baled. I don't know how many tractors I've driven, but those are all gone. They're all gone. Yeah. Every one of them.
It's sad. It's when I say this region's depressed, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad.
I remember, still people to this day do not believe this, but I can remember when I was a young boy on the school bus going to school in the morning, we had kids on our route. School bus would pick us up at 6:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. We'd get to school by 8:15, and we had kids along this route. And there were kids that I knew of that lived in houses with no heat, no running water, and some of them lived in dirt floor garages. I remember those days. I remember those kids.
There's still some of that around my area.
Yep.
I mean, and we're only, 60 miles apart?
60 miles apart. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it happens all over around here.
Yep. It's tough. And it's tough to make a living up here. It really is. So I got to commend you, Josh, because, I've been out to your shop. I've watched your YouTube videos. Got to see Connor's face. Nobody else gets to see it, but I get to see it. So that's pretty cool. But and then you're out there getting it done every day, making it happen. And so when me and my wife were watching your videos, it just was like I kind of connected with you right away and said, man, I know what it's like, and I know how tough it can be. You got to have some grit. Yeah. You got to be willing to work hard. You better not be willing to give up.
If you're not willing to get dirty in this region, you're not going to make it.
Yep.
So all right, well let's head out in the shop and check out the equipment.
All right, sounds good.
Before we go out into the shop, I'll just show you guys the tooling. The tooling that's going to be on this auction is just incredible. So if you need anything, check this auction out. at all those spade drills.
I mean, Josh, if you had to take a guess, I mean, between these three cabinets, you know, this is something some people don't understand, but, you know, what do you think we're looking at here, money-wise, between all the inserts and all the taps and...
Boy, a few $100,000, if not more. I mean, there's a lot of money here just in tooling. And this isn't all of it either, is it?
No, this is just a small portion of it. Some of it's out in the shop with the machines, tooling packages for the products that we make. We have about 15 products that I've invented for the oil and gas industry that work quite well. We've been criticized at times that, you know, the prices are high on our stuff, but we don't make throwaway items. Everything we make is built to last, and it works extremely well because of all the time that I've spent in the oil and gas industry. I've worked all over North America, spent a year down in Mexico. I was over in Algeria for 2 years working for British Petroleum and Bechtel and Sonatrach. And so I gained all this experience, and then I just started making products that were needed out there. So, yeah.
All right, well, let's head out to the shop. Now, guys, this is a thing of beauty and sadness, really, to see this shop not being worked in.
This Taki lathe that we have right here, this is actually a sliding gap bed lathe. It swings 6 feet in diameter, 20 feet long, but you slide the gap out an additional 10 feet, and then you'll get a bed that's 30 feet long. So you'll actually have a gap of about 10 feet that swings 6 feet in diameter.
So this sliding gap lathe, most people don't understand how this works, but this whole bed section here, this upper piece slides. The whole thing slides back to create a larger gap. Now, there were a lot of manufacturers that made smaller ones of this. This is the biggest one I've ever seen of, I mean, this thing is incredible. I wish I had room for it, really. But just an incredible machine in immaculate condition. I mean, the ways are just beautiful. And this is where you would see the most damage, is up close to the end of the bed. So this thing is incredible, and it's just sad to see it go. So over here is John's smallest lathe. And what size did you say this was?
It's a 17 by 60. It's an American Turnmaster.
Okay, there it is. And again, this is another really nice looking machine. The ways are beautiful. Why don't you bring the camera in here, Connor? I mean, I don't see, I mean, yeah, you feel a little bit back here, which is normal, but I mean, it's in really great shape. Somebody's going to wind up with a really nice lathe here off the auction. And then over there that's a
Clausing in Colchester. Yep, that's
okay.
A 25 by 120, and then it's got a 32-inch gap in it, so you can pull the gap out of this one, and then I believe it swings 32 in here.
Okay, yep, here's the gap. So
And this machine actually came from a CNC shop down in Illinois. They had purchased it brand new for a one-step operation of some machining some thin aluminum plate. Once the operation ran out, they put it up for sale. Nobody bought it. I ended up buying it on eBay, drove down to Illinois, picked it up, and then we've had it ever since. It's got a brand new DRO on it, a brand new Dropros DRO. It had new clutches put on it, and it's had all the PMs done, and this has been a great machine. This has been a really good machine for us.
Yeah, what a beautiful piece. And then, guys, over here, John was pointing this out earlier. These are some of the gearboxes they were doing. This work is going away. I mean, once he finishes these jobs up, there's nobody to take this work on. There's nobody in this region that's got equipment this big to handle this kind of stuff. So it's really a sad deal all around.
Yep, it's kind of unfortunate because a lot of people, maybe they would have an exit strategy with their business and they would kind of plan this out, and people are probably going to go, well, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you have an exit strategy? Well, the bottom line is my wife and I made a decision that we would continue to pour our resources into the business because we cared about our employees. We wanted to try to make this work. We wanted to try to continue to see them have jobs, good paying jobs. And they'll have a good paying job right to the end, but you know, it's gotten to the point where we just can't support it anymore, and we just have to cut it off now. So, but yeah, all this stuff is going to be going. All the customers, we have a client list of about I think around 800 to 850 clients. It's all going to disappear and be gone.
Wow.
It'll all just go. Yep.
That's sad.
It's just sad, yeah.
Bring the camera over here, Connor. I'll show you how they bored this bad bearing surface out. You bore weld it, right?
Yeah, and then we'll weld it back up with a bore welder. Yep.
And then remachine it. So this is all repaired. Okay, so we'll move through the shop here, but John's keeping this mill here. This is a beautiful piece. I wouldn't mind having it myself, and these angle plates are all going on the
everything's
auction?
all going to be going on the auction.
Wow.
Yep.
I would love to have these. For my sake, I hope they go cheap, but for
Well,
yours, I hope they
you know
go
what?
high.
They just might, you know.
So, this boring mill, what a beautiful machine.
Yep, this is a Shibura. It's got a 5 1/8 inch spindle. It's actually in a pit that's 2 feet deep in here. When we built the new machine shop in this portion here, we actually decided to put them down in the ground in a pit. So we prepped the bases accordingly, poured the correct concrete and the correct footing, and it allows us to work at a manageable height with all this. But this is a great machine. It actually came out of a paper mill that was about 150 miles from here. It's seen very little use. It actually came with a rotary table, a facing head, and a 90-degree head. I actually just did the PM on this machine myself, and I also pulled out the main spindle and replaced the drawbar, put in new hydraulic oil, as I said, did all the PMs, and then put a new seal in the end of it. So not only do I run these machines, but as the owner, I take care of them too. So yeah. Great machine.
You know, and Connor, take the camera and look at this bridge crane. This is a beautiful 10-ton bridge crane in here in the machine shop. You know, the building is just amazing. I mean, you've done an amazing job building this place, and I mean, you're selling the building too.
Yep, we're going to be selling the building. We're going to be selling everything. And the building has got basically 5 overhead cranes ranging from 5-ton to 20-ton. Lots of capacity, 19-foot ceilings, big overhead doors. The machine shop in here, I specifically had it poured to have an 8-inch floor with reinforcing rebar in there. And so the 8-inch floor allows us to take these bigger machines, other than the boring mills, and set them right on top of the concrete without having them worrying about them moving. So that was one of the reasons why we went with a thicker floor. So.
All right, so over here is a machine that I, am very familiar with, sorta. I haven't run a CNC version, but this is another beautiful example of a boring mill. This is a Lucas as well, similar to mine, but just a little bit bigger.
Yep. So this Lucas mill that we have here has actually been a great machine. When we installed the machine, we actually went through it and rebuilt the machine. It's got new Turcot on the ways, new vertical ball screw. The head shaft has been rebuilt on the inside. New control screen. It's got a new DC drive, and it's got a new firing module on it. Now, the machine does have an e-stop issue. We've had a really good tech in here that is familiar with working on older machines. He has told us it's a simple e-stop issue, most likely a broken wire somewhere, but mechanically the machine is in great condition. So this will be going in the auction as well, and someone that's looking to get a very robust CNC machine, this would actually work out quite well.
Yeah, this is in beautiful condition. I've seen Lucases of this size before that are trashed, and this thing is in great shape. Like I said, I wish I had room.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, wow. So besides the manual, he's got quite a few CNCs in here. And so let's move on, and what do you got for?
Yep. So right here, the machine, let's see, are you looking at this one right here?
Let's, move over.
Yep, so this is a Doosan Revo 51P. This is a 40 taper vertical machining center, and it's got a 4th axis table on it. So there's a number of things that we've run in this, but this machine right here, and then that Okuma turning center are actually the 2 machines that produce all of our high pressure fittings. So if someone was to buy that division, that product division of the company, the high pressure fitting division, then they would have, and they wanted to purchase these two machines, they could go ahead and do that, and then they would have all the programs that are all written, everything would be there, all the tooling, all the fixtures, everything that you needed, a turnkey operation that would be ready to go. So, and then over here we have another smaller Doosan turning center.
That's a nice size machine for most anybody.
Yep.
Really, good size capacity for a lot of shops. And I've been noticing the numbers on everything. Is that the numbers that Premier has been given?
No, that was a number that we had an asset log, and we kept really good records of everything. So
Okay.
when we're doing all the PMs and all the logs of everything being done, and these help to be on our asset for basically for the company, for the value, for everything that was listed within the company, so we knew what we had.
All right, John, you told me about this machine. There's some history behind it, which is really cool.
Yep, so this is pretty cool. So this basically came from a one-owner shop that was out in California, and I spoke to the gentleman that ran it for approximately about 15 years, and he told me that this machine was responsible for building all of the main bodies for the first generation Tomahawk cruise missiles, that every one of them were done on here. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it ended up being sold to a company down in Florida. It was actually a machining company down in Florida. And then when we purchased it, we did a little bit of work to it, but it was pretty much up and running right away. But since having it, we put in a new drive. We have put in a new 50 horsepower direct drive spindle motor, new clutches, new bearings, and I believe one of the access motors is new. But this is an example of one of the fittings that we used to run on here. But you can see the turret up there with the tool changer. But this is a really robust machine. Definitely if you want to hog off a lot of material, this is a machine to do it with. So yeah, another machine that's going to be in the auction ready to go.
What year was this, do you know?
This is somewhere around the 80s, I believe, late 80s or
Okay.
early 90s. I'm not really sure on that, completely
Yeah,
sure.
so not terribly old. I mean, old in CNC standards, but not
Yep.
terribly old.
Yep, but a slant bed, a very heavy duty slant bed machine.
Yeah, and everything looks good on the ways. I mean, and box ways on this carriage here. Everything
Yep.
feels pretty good. I mean, you know, normal wear for 40 years. I mean, 30, 40 years. That's
Yep.
not in bad shape at all. All right, well, let's head over here. Geez, I didn't see the surface grinder before.
And
You got a
that's
nice-
going to be going with me. Yep.
That's a nice size machine, actually.
Yeah. It's all automatic too. You know, it
Oh,
sits
is
there
it?
and crank hands. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So here's another vertical machining center. This is Toyota.
Yep. 50 taper. So this has got a big spindle on it, big taper, 50 taper machine. So all the tooling is going to be going with it. Everything that you see here. We actually got a great deal on this. That we actually got called at the last minute from a company, I believe, down in Florida, and it was actually a bank repossession. So that's where it started out as, and they said, if you want it, you can have it right now. Dan called me on the phone and said, hey, we got to figure out how we can get the money to pay for this. And so, you know, so now here it is. We're selling it. So
Yeah.
it is, like we said, it's sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, is that a big hydraulic press?
That's a hydraulic press. That's a 100-ton press. The hydraulic cylinder has been rebuilt in it. We actually rebuilt it ourselves in our prior hydraulic shop. You know, there's another sidebar, is that we had a hydraulic shop that we ran with about a half a dozen people in it. It serviced the needs of the hydraulic needs in the area, but the biggest problem is we couldn't find anybody to run it. It was about 8 blocks from here, and there was plenty of work in the area, but same problem that we still have to this day. We couldn't find any help.
Yeah.
And that's a problem that we're having up here. You just cannot find people.
Can't
It's
find
very
people,
difficult.
and a lot of that hydraulic work now is going to like the Twin Cities.
Yep.
There's a shop in the Twin Cities that I personally work with. I'm doing all their machining. They're sending it to me.
Oh, sure.
Because they can't find machinists down there.
Yep.
Or at least competent ones is what they're telling me.
Yep.
So, yeah, what a beautiful building. And here's the
Yep.
20-ton crane. I just can't get over how beautiful this building is and how sad this is.
It's just really sad. It is what it is. But you know what? You just gotta move on in life. You can't look in the rearview mirror. My wife always says that the windshield's big and the rearview mirror is small. So, yep. This is really cool. This is a Cincinnati Bickford. It's a 13-inch column with a 4-foot arm, and it's got another T-table off to the side of it. I actually purchased this on eBay a number of years ago. Came from the original owner, so it was a one-owner machine, and then I purchased it after that. And we do not use it a lot, but when we need it, we need it, you know.
Yeah, so it's same as my Carlton, you know, when you need it. But I mean, this is a nice feature, having this L table, and this bolts on for easy moving, but just, it's a nice feature. Check out this vise. What is that, a 10-inch?
Yeah, that's a 10-inch, that's a big one, yep.
I mean, massive. That's a beautiful piece too. So much really nice equipment going to be on this auction.
Here's a cabinet. This is just an example of some of the broaches and broach plugs that are going to be going.
Yeah, you got some nice broaches now here. That's a big broach. Those I'm cutting on the slaughter.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool. That's one thing we never had. We never had a slaughter.
They're hard to find.
Yep.
And they get serious money for them.
I bet, yeah. Well, they make the process so much easier.
Oh, yeah.
So much easier than broaching it with a plug. And this was kind of our assembly area in here. Some of our product that you see on the shelf over here. Well, actually, they're not even here. They're probably off in powder coating right now. But this was kind of our assembly area. This is a 400-ton press brake that we have here, all the punches and dies. We actually rebuilt the cylinders in here, put new seals in them, and then we rebuilt the hydraulic pump. Now this is kind of an interesting deal, is that we had a contract with a company that they had would bring us these large diameter gears that had to have the inner hub pressed out of them, and nobody in the area could do it. And so they had called me and they said, hey, you got a way that you could get this done or make this happen? And I actually had said, yeah, you know what? What we need to do is we need to, there's an...
Look at the size of that die. What a beautiful...
That's nice. That's
Sorry,
a big
I didn't
one.
mean to
No, you're fine. You're fine. And so what they did is they came to me and they said, hey, we got to figure out a way to press these gears out. And they said, how would you do it? And I said, well, we'd actually heat up the outside of them to about 500 degrees. And then we would, once we got them up to temperature, then we'd press them out with the press brake. And so that's work that's going to be going away.
Okay, now we got the shear here.
Yep, it's a 12-foot by half-inch shear. And it actually comes with blades that are in a box that are resharpened, ready to go.
Wow. And that's beautiful. Is that a hydraulic shear? Or
yes,
mechanical?
It is. Yep, no, okay. It's a hydraulic shear. Yep.
And then hydraulic back gauge and hold downs as
Correct.
well?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, electric back gauge
yep.
And then, hydraulic hold downs.
That's a Hercules. Okay.
Look at this right here. This little symbol's been up here for 10 years. No AR and no T1.
That cost you a set of blades?
That cost you a set of blades. Yep.
So we're in one of the rooms here in the shop this is where you do all your assembly for your products?
Yep, part of it, and get our inventory for some of the different products.
Yeah, and here's one that I really think is cool. Can you talk about that, John?
Yeah, so this is what actually is called the Magitap housing, and basically it's something that is used for a drain up on a pipeline for any type of product like oil and gas, diesel fuel, naphtha, and things like that. There's actually a 4-inch carbide cutter that goes inside of here. It's driven hydraulically with this motor. And this isn't really the best representation of it, but if you went onto our website, there's actually a video that explains it and shows it in action. So Josh, you're going to throw a link in there or something?
Yeah, I'll put a link in the description to John's actual website.
And they can see all the products that we make on there and know that we're going to divide it up between the fitting division and the Magitap division and then the tool division. So,
yeah, there's a lot here, a lot that's going to be sold
a lot
and
that's
split
going to be
up
gone. Yep.
and gone.
And
yeah.
she'll be all empty. Yep. I'm sure there'll be a tear when I drive away, but you know what? That's life.
20 years of life.
20 years of life. Yeah, actually June 1st, 2024, it'll be 20 years that we've been in business.
Wow.
So, yeah, hard to believe.
Yeah.
You know.
God, that's sad. It's
But,
so sad.
but you know, the thing is that one of the things that I take away from this is that I really fell in love with all my employees. I really did, and I really cared about them. And a lot of our employees made really good money. They built houses, they had babies, they put kids through college, and these are all good things. You know, both my wife and I, we've never been about money. We know we can't take it with us in the end, and that we would prefer to be generous than to hoard it for ourselves. And so I know that when it's all said and done, I can sleep at night knowing that I treated my employees right. And if we've suffered or bared a little bit of burden, then hey, so be it. You know, I would rather go that direction than the other direction.
Yeah, you gave them the best chance they can get in a region such as this.
Yep, that is true. Yep, very true.
All right, so here's another room it's all the fasteners.
Yep.
You got a lot of tools in here that are going to be on the auction.
Yep, welding wire, welding rod. And we haven't even gotten into the welding portion of the shop yet.
Yeah, we're not even to the welding stuff.
No, not yet.
Yeah, look at all the welding rods, you know, different wires. You've got sub-arc.
Yep, there's a sub-arc system out there, full-on sub-arc.
Yeah, there's just so much. Yeah, that's carbon arc for gouging.
Yep.
All right, now we're going to step out into the weld shop portion. And this is another beautiful room. Overhead cranes, you got a 10-ton there, and what's this one?
5-ton, yep.
Okay.
Yep, 10-ton double girder, 5-ton single girder. And they're actually, it's kind of messy right now. It's normally this dirty in here, but we're trying to finish jobs. We're trying to get the shop clean, trying to get things organized. So that's one of the reasons why I'm up here for the next week, is just working on all of that. This is a beautiful Kaiser saw. It's a 16 by 16. It's actually a CNC saw that is programmable for shuttle work.
Okay, so this is a Kaiser.
Yep, KA16, so it's 16 by 16.
Okay, so that Johnson saw I have was Johnson and Kaiser were together for a while, and then Dake bought them out, and this must be before the Dake purchase then, I'm guessing.
I would think so. I would think that just by this nameplate right here, this is typically what you see on older machines, stuff like of this nature.
Yeah,
you know.
with the raised
Yep, with the
lettering
raised, correct,
yeah.
exactly. Yep, been a good saw.
And then you've got a Ellis over there, right?
Yep, another Ellis, and actually we had another Ellis, a small Ellis in the back that they use in the CNC shop.
Okay.
So, but yeah, an Ellis there, and forklifts.
Yeah.
Some good thick T1 steel that's going to be going.
Wow, look at that chunk of steel. And you guys were cutting all these out on your burn table.
Yep, on the
here.
burn table we have a 10-foot by 20-foot Challenger table. That's going to be going in the auction. And then all the welding machines that you see right in here, all the ones on the other side, you probably didn't catch those, but this is some of the bore welding that we do here. They're actually setting this up to weld all these bores right here with our bore welder.
Yeah, and I saw one just sitting over there that was welded up.
Yep, that one's right here. Yep, right here. This one's all welded up too.
Yeah. Yeah, very smooth for being welded. Very nice. And then that'll go over to the boring mill next then.
Correct.
Right?
That'll go on the boring mill and get set up and get finished out there.
Yeah. Let's walk over and look at the burn table, because as many of my viewers know, I've got that small copy torch. This is much more sophisticated than that, but still a really cool unit. Oh yeah, that's a weld positioner, Connor.
Yep, weld positioner.
Filming there. That's for, you put a weldment on there and you can rotate it, you can swing it. So this platen rotates, you can pivot it down at different angles. What is this one's capacity? Is this like
15,000, 12 inches on center.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is a nice unit.
Yep, we've done a lot of work with that over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use that in conjunction with our sub-arc system. The sub-arc system is actually covered up right now just to keep everything off of it. But the full sub-arc system is under here. And then you have a Lincoln DC 1000, so a 1000 amp welder that we would use with the sub-arc system.
Wow. Okay, back to the table. Yeah, back to the burn table.
Okay. Yep, Challenger burn table. It's actually a Challenger plasma and burn table. So not only do you have plasma, but it's got oxyacetylene. I think the thickest that we've ever cut on here on oxyacetylene has been 10 inches thick. That's the thickest that we've cut. But normally this is all filled up with water. That's to help to keep the smoke and the dust down. But this table, it's a little bit older of a table, but what we did is we went and put we retrofitted it with a brand new Bernie controller. This was actually, controller was about a $30,000 controller. We put that in about 7 years ago. And then they went in and did all the updates for the drives and got everything working good.
Wow.
So, yep, this has really served us well.
What's the plasma capacity on this?
3/4 inch thick aluminum. So you could actually get 1 inch out of it. That would really be pushing it. But you can do 1 inch steel and 3/4 inch aluminum all day long on it.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, and I've got, you know, that burn table I got, that little copy torch assembly. Connor did the 4-inch, burned a piece of that. I don't know if you saw that video.
No, I might have. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we made a pattern and traced out the pattern with the copy torch, and 4-inch plate.
There you go.
So yeah,
that's some fun stuff.
It's cool to see this big stuff cutting. You know, it's amazing.
Another little weld positioner here.
This is a nice size. That's a very nice size. What's the capacity of this one?
That I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't remember what the capacity of this was.
But
we had outfitted it with a hydraulic drive, and then we have a hydraulic power unit because we have another storage unit that has a ton of inventory in it. It's actually about several blocks from here. Okay. But all that's going to have to come over here prior to the auction and get all that laid out and categorized and numbered and.
Wow. There's a nice little bench grinder for somebody.
Mobia iron worker.
Yeah. These iron workers are awesome. I got one myself, little guy. Little 50-ton, but what is this one?
That is, I think, a 250-ton, I think.
Oh, this will do some thick stuff.
Yeah, this will do some pretty thick stuff. Might say on there, I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, I don't see the tonnage, just that's electrical data.
Okay, sure.
But
yeah, we use this a lot over the years. We've done a lot of structural work over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, so nibbler, punch, shear, angle cutter. You can cut, that's for solids.
Yep.
Yeah, solid round, solid square, up to that size. Yeah.
It's pretty heavy duty.
It's heavy, yeah.
It's been a good machine. Unit. Yep.
So, and we're walking here, the break room, the bathroom. Now, when you bought this building, it was just this portion, the weld shop?
It was just this portion, this side here, and then the back portion there. There was a small portion on the other side of that wall that served as an employee break room, lunch room for the previous owner, but it was pretty small. Okay. Then we did our big addition there in 2012.
Yeah, so this was the original front office for that shop that was here before.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, and if you walk back to the break room here, this is a nice break room, and it'll give you kind of an idea how many guys were really working here. I mean, all these cubby holes for all the employees in the shop.
Yep.
And then you were running, what, 2 shifts?
We were running 2 shifts, 6 days a week for about 7 years. Sometimes 7 days a week. We had crews working basically all over the United States at one time. I was traveling constantly up to Athabasca up in Canada. We were doing work up there for one of our biggest clients, traveling all the way down to Tulsa, Oklahoma. constantly traveling, constantly working, and work was just rolling and rolling and rolling in.
Yeah.
And then it just started to just go away, started to change.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sad. You know, all these guys that were working here, now they had to find other jobs, or
Yep.
hopefully most of them retired.
Some of them retired, some of them made lateral shifts in their life, and some of them moved out of the region, and some of them are unemployed. You know.
Yeah. Why, moving out of the region, that's the advice I keep giving Connor. Get out of here. There's nothing here. No, I keep saying that, but I love living here. It is desolate, it is depressed, but we don't have the problems we have in the more populated areas. So I don't want to move, but I am just still. It's just so sad to see this go away.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're outside here, and if Connor, if you want to shoot the building, just so you can see better, the size of this building is just incredible. What John has built here over the years. Hopefully the wind isn't getting my microphone too bad.
Yep.
But how many square feet?
The whole lot size is 33,000 square feet, and the actual building is 16,000.
Wow.
So it's a pretty big building.
16,000 of manufacturing space. It's just, that's crazy.
Yep.
And now,
It'll all disappear.
yeah, who knows what it'll become.
Who knows? Hard to say. Yep.
Yeah.
Wendy's.
You know, and this area, you know, we're on the north end of, Tower Avenue's right over there. We're on John Street. You've got the grain elevators over here. I see they finally got most of the globe elevator gone.
Yep. Yep.
Whose was this? Was this Cargill
I
or
believe
CHS?
that you got me there. I'm not sure.
I know
Yep.
they're not as busy as they used to be. Fraser Shipyard, they're picking up, but
They're
they're
picking
new
up.
owners.
Yep, they're new owners. They're picking up. We have seen some more ships in port, more than we've seen in the past. So that's been encouraging.
Yeah,
You know.
but compared to the 80s, the 90s.
Oh my gosh, when there was all kinds of people here.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, things have really deteriorated
That
here.
really changed. Really changed a lot.
All right, we'll walk inside here. Connor, get the sign out front here. This is just some of the services they did here. I mean, you guys did a lot of cool stuff.
Yep, we did a lot of stuff. Yeah, we're very blessed, very fortunate. This was the front office area, or actually a receptionist area. There's right in here, Connor, there's my office upstairs, and then there actually was an accounting office. So I actually stay there now while I'm here, because
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense to go to a motel and spend $3,000 when I'm here for 3 weeks. So I stay up there, and I run to the gas station, take a shower, and grab something to eat, and just keep on working.
Yeah, yeah.
So
do
that's what you got to do. Yep. I don't know if we want to show this so much, but because we can't get Tom in there, but we can probably show the offices through here, and then just go back into the conference room. So
Yeah, you got some beautiful office space in here. So whoever is looking at buying this building is,
yeah, some
mean,
really
they
nice desks and equipment.
yeah. And whoever buys the building might not have a lot of remodel to do for the office
No,
space.
not really, actually. Yeah, it's kind of turnkey,
You know, depending on what they're going to do. But this is one of the jobs that John worked on himself.
Yep, in Algeria.
Yeah. And then this was one of the pipelines here.
Yep, actually from here, from Hassi Armel all the way down to Insala. This was about 400 miles, and we had to build all the roads, all the man camps. There were about 6 camps, 2 airstrips. Hottest I ever seen it was 146 in August of 2003. That was hot. We worked 7 days a week, 12 hours a day for 2 years.
Wow.
Yep.
And these jobs are the working on these pipelines is what helped you develop your product.
Correct. That's exactly right. I just took a look at what I knew was where there was a shortfall in some of the equipment and tools out there, and said, man, there's got to be a better way to do it. And so that's what we came up with. So we have a lot of great products in our clamps and our tools, our chain clamps, lineup clamps, all of that. So, and yeah, all that stuff will be going up for sale. So. Another HR office in here, conference room in here.
Did you make the table?
Yeah, we built the table, yeah.
Wow.
It took 6 guys to haul it in here. Yep.
That's cool. Aluminum?
Yep, that's aluminum. Yep.
Okay.
We used a little DA sander on it and then
Yeah.
finish the top of it. So.
Cool. And then you got your logo.
Yep. The logo
Right
imprinted
here.
right there. Yeah, this is actually one of the products that we make. It's called an Aluma skid. We actually made this for a specialized pipeline application out on the West Coast. They were looking for a skid that could be used in place of wood that wouldn't start on fire and that would be able to handle the stresses and the load. They initially placed an order for it, and we sold them a number, and then after that, they didn't want to go that route anymore. They decided to discontinue using it. So we had some of them left over, so now we're trying to find a use for this, and we're thinking that there's possibly a use in the trucking and shipping industry. Because this coating here is actually non-flammable, skid resistant, kind of somewhat wear resistant, and then its surrounding shell, an aluminum shell, and this is actually tubing that we had a special die made for. We went to a company down in Iowa and we asked them to construct a die so we could have an extrusion. Okay. So we own this die, and then we can make these extrusions as long as we want. Wow. And then we put a plate on the end so it has a handhold, and then put the coating on the outside.
And it doesn't weigh anything. That's lighter than a chunk of wood.
Oh, it's lighter than a chunk of wood. It doesn't rot. It works extremely well. And so we're just trying to find a use for that now. So, but that as well, that's something that's going to be going on the wayside, an opportunity for somebody, you know.
All right, we're outside here again, just looking at some of the stock that John's got built up here that's going to be on the auction too. A lot of material here, a lot of plate, tubing. There's some beautiful solid bar stock here. What's that one, 6.5 inch?
Yep, 6.5-ish. This is A350 LF2. This is some of the stuff that we use for our specialized fittings.
Okay.
So.
And what's that, 9 inch there? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, some beautiful material here. Yeah, there's some stainless over there. So there'll be a lot of good material on the auction too for anybody looking.
Yep, for sure.
These carts are awesome.
Yeah, these carts are really nice because what you can do is on the other end of it with the plate, there's a swivel plate on the other end of it. And what you can do is you can actually load long material on here, and then you pick up the end with a forklift. You just put your forks in here, pick it up, and then this plate swivels. So you can get it at a 90-degree angle to try to get it into the building.
Oh, awesome.
Works really, really good for that.
Boy, I wish I had a need.
Yeah. Well, there's always a need, I think, somewhere.
Well, I could find a need. I got to justify it to the wife.
Yeah, you just got to have the money. Yeah.
Well, guys, I think we covered everything here at the shop, and God, I don't know what else to say, John.
Well, I want to say thank you for coming, to you and Connor for coming up. This is wonderful. I really appreciate it. And you know, the thing is we're not looking for pity from anybody. This is just life. It happens. It's sad that it came to this end, because Worldwide has really done well over the years and supported a lot of families. But you know what? You got to take the good with the bad in life, and you just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's all any of us can do is keep pushing forward. You know.
Yep.
Like I said, you know, in a region such as this, just economically depressed, it's a battle every day.
Every day, it's a battle.
I mean, you've seen it, and you know, everybody else I know around this area has seen it, and you know, we do what we got to do to survive. So, guys, check out this auction. It's going to be Premier Machinery Auction. When was it? May 7th through the 14th?
It opens up on May 7th and it ends on the 14th. Yep.
Yeah, so check out the auction. There's a lot of good stuff here. There's something for everybody, and you know, help John out. He's got a lot of years ahead of him.
Yeah, I still got to keep working. I don't think there's any retirement in my life coming up. But you know what? I got a good wife that supports me. I've got great kids that love me, and the good Lord is always taking care of me. So no worries.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for letting us tour the shop. And
appreciate it.
Show everybody.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Great.
Thanks, Connor.
And we'll see you soon, I hope.
Okay, you will. Yep.
Well, we're back on the road, heading back to my shop, 60 miles. And it's a sad day, a very sad day. Worldwide Machining and Welding is no more. Once the auction takes place, all the equipment, everything will be gone, all the tooling. And John's moving on to a new chapter in his life, so he's at peace with it, and I'm happy for him. I hope it works out. If you guys want to buy some equipment or tooling, Premier Machinery Auctions, I'll put a link to their website down below in the description. They do ship smaller items. Riggers will be on site for loading machines. Whatever you need, they are amazing to work with. If you're interested in the building or any of the product lines, you can get a hold of John directly. Just go to his website, the link in the description below, and he'll work with you. And he's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that there's a future with the products and things can move on. So he's very, very at peace with his decision. I'm happy for him. And again, I just want to reiterate how depressed this region is economically. It is so bad here, and it is just continually getting worse. John and I talked off camera about all the stuff that has disappeared the last 10 years. It's insane. All the industry, all the other stuff. So it's sad. It's really sad, but definitely check out the auction. And until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.